Krishna's father's name is Vasudeva. Krishna's name is Vasudeva. So remember all that. Even when you sing bhajans, sometimes I notice the Om Namah Shivaya has to come in that formation. But when you sing the other songs like what are the other Shiva bhajans that you sing? I've noticed that you are singing
Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. Shiva, Shiva, Shiva.
No, the other one. Now you're saying the Shivaya when it is not to be said. Why, you're saying Shivai, Shivai. It doesn't come every time. Just say Shiva. Only in particular formulations you can say Om Namah Shivaya or Shivai. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. It will come when it comes, I'll tell you. We are doing it all wrong and nobody's correcting it. Just everywhere they're singing this. Like that, like Vasudeva. His father's name is Vasudeva and he is Vasudeva. Like I told you, it's not Krishna, it's Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. All the Karashana together in the same place. Such a big cluster. We call it a cluster of consonants. Sanskrit and Hindi, we have a lot of clusters. In Hindi, no. They put a vowel sound between each consonant. Only in Sanskrit. Okay. Marriage over. They have a very good, happy married life till they get a son, Pradyumna, who is the spitting image of his father Krishna. Ditto he looks. Carbon copy of his father. But what happens? He is kidnapped by one of their kinsmen called Shambara. He kidnaps the baby. Because he has some enmity against Krishna, another enemy of Krishna, he takes away the baby. So we think everything is happy and lovely, and then what happens? Some event happens. But every time you notice the way Krishna handles all the problems. This is what we need to know when we learn all his stories. You will see the way he handles problems. For example, when Jarasandha attacked him in Mathura, what does he do? He doesn't react at all. He runs away from there. You and I will say, no, nothing doing. He's challenged us, we cannot give up, we have to fight. There are times that you do not react to people's challenges. Let them throw the challenge, you just coolly ignore it. And you will be surprised. Those people will start cooking more than if you had reacted. And it's a matter of time before, some dals cook very fast. Some take very long to cook. Isn't it? You have to pressure cook it and still it will not cook, and then you have to soak it and then pressure cook it. Have you noticed? So there are some people who cook for a longer time. So you let them take their time. So now the son is kidnapped. What does Krishna do? Sit and cry, go to temples, bring. Did he do that? Oh, he was God, he didn't have to do that. He was also a father. Right? The child kidnapped by some Shambara, he threw it into the sea because he wanted to simply spite Krishna. But what happens to the baby? He is swallowed by a huge fish. And the fish is caught by Shambara's cook. And they find the baby in his kitchen. His kitchen is being supervised by Mayavati, who is the incarnation of Rati Devi, the wife of Kamdev, who is Pradyumna. Remember, Pradyumna was destroyed by Shiva because he dared to send an arrow at Shiva. Shiva opened his third eye. What is the third eye? Wisdom. Wisdom will burn up desire, kama. So that was the story, isn't it? So Pradyumna dies. After praying for him and pining for him, Rati Devi dies. Now she is born as Mayavati, and here she is, and when the baby is taken out of the fish, she brings up the baby. And when he grows up, she discovers it is her husband of previous birth. So she trains him in all shastras and astras and all that, and then tells him the story of the enmity of Shambhara. And she says, you are Krishna and Rukmani's son, so you have to kill him. So he challenges Shambhara for a combat, kills him, and she flies him back to Krishna's palace. And Krishna was very calm. He knew when it had to happen, it will happen. It's a matter of time. And so they come back and they both are married in their palace. Now, one day Krishna, this is another thing. How does Krishna handle rumors and people who talk ill of him? One day, sitting in the court, people in the court see a brilliant light coming towards them into the hall. So they all thought it was the Surya Bhagavan, sun himself coming. So they get very excited, and Krishna says, no, it is Satyajit who is coming, one of his kinsmen, courtiers. He is coming in, but he has this huge, brilliant jewel which is shining like the sun. So Satyajit is very happy, wearing it on a big chain. He comes very proudly and tells everybody, hey, I am a worshipper of the sun, and today sun god gave me this beautiful jewel called Shyamantakamani. So very proudly and you know what? Whoever has this jewel will get 5 kilos of gold every day. Where is the money? Where can I find it? Why is even our eyes going wide like that? Imagine, such a pain. What will you do with it? Oh, I'll become very rich. Ask all the rich people. It's very funny, Here, we'll see this story now. So, he proudly tells this to everybody. Krishna immediately tells him, Satyajit, very good, you have this wonderful stone, but you think it has to be kept carefully. I have, being the king, he has a treasury and it has security people. So I will keep it in the treasury for you. You leave it with me. But don't worry, every day you come and collect your 5 kilos of gold. I don't want it, so you can come and take it. Satyajit says, no, I can manage. I don't need your help. It's okay. So Krishna keeps quiet. Satyajit goes home. A few days later, his brother Prasannajit has his birthday. So for the birthday, he tells his brother, hey bro, can I borrow your jewel for my birthday? I'm going for a picnic with my friends, hunting picnic. So the brother cannot refuse. So he says, okay, but be careful and take care of it and come back, safely. So the fellow takes it and goes with his friends on a hunting expedition. The night about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, the friends come back saying that they lost Prasannajit. They don't know what to do. They looked for him, but they couldn't find him. They lost him somewhere during the expedition. So immediately Satyajit Instead of even going there and finding out what happened or anything, he just starts spreading the rumor that it must have been Krishna who did this to his brother. Because you know how people's mind works. He wanted that money that day itself, so he must have killed my brother. He had his eye on that jewel. Imagine. Just imagine. See, we all get so worked up and upset when somebody talks ill of us. Even the Lord is not saved from such things. So what are you and me? For that I think we have less problems. What do you say? Isn't it? Nothing compared to what the Lord has been experiencing. But he never went to hospital with trauma, with what do you call it? Depression. He never took Prozac. Nothing happened to him. Look at this. How he is handling it. So the rumor spread, and naturally the rumor one day will come back to the person that's why it is sent around. Isn't it? So they hears the rumor, and Krishna comes to hear of it. So immediately, as I told you, like Rama, once a rumor comes, the king cannot afford to say, I don't care. I won't be a football of that opinion. He cannot afford to say that. He personally is not affected. By the way, even we may not be a football of that opinion, but when there is an opportunity, we have to do something so that if it is something serious. Is that clear? Especially if you hold some position and power, and if there is a rumor, right, then you have the responsibility to clarify it at some point. So Krishna personally goes to the forest where these guys had gone. So he asks his friends, where did you go? And he takes one of them, shows the place. Then he says, you can go. Then he does some Sherlock Holmes job there. And he discovers some pug marks of a tiger. So he follows the marks, and in a distance he finds the body of Prasanajit and a body of the tiger. Both are dead. He looks for the money from the neck, it's missing. So again he investigates, and further he finds that there are bear foot marks, the paws of bear. Its pug marks are also found. So he follows that. And when he follows that, he reaches a cave. So he peeps from outside into the cave, and there he sees a little child playing with the babysitter. And the baby is playing with the Samantakamani. So he walks in to find out what it is and to take the money from the baby and ask that lady if there is anybody. As he walks in, from inside the cave in another door comes in a huge bear, old huge bear. And straight away challenges him and he says, and the Krishna says, I've come to take this money. It belongs to somebody else. But the bear says, sorry, it belongs to me. I took it from that tiger which was eating that man. And it had it, it was taking it from its neck, and I took it, I killed the tiger and took the money. So it is mine. Krishna says, no, it is mine. And the bear starts, okay, let's fight. And he starts punching him, challenging him, and starts fighting. So they have a good wrestling match for a long time. And as the match was going on, suddenly the bear starts noticing, like in films they show suddenly a flash of some other face. Like that, he started seeing on Krishna, the enemy. This is enemy, Krishna is his enemy. So he sees in the enemy's face, he sees his beloved Rama's face. So who's this bear? Jambavan. So he starts seeing Rama's face in his enemy's face. He's shocked. It comes for a second, vanishes. So he again starts punching. Then he says, it's Rama. So he stops, he's shocked. Then it goes on like this. At one point he says, hey, tell me, what's your name? Who are you? Till then he didn't even ask. He went off to fight. Many of us do that. We start arguing, we start fighting without finding out what it is all about. So he says, what's your name? And then he sees clearly Rama in him. And then he says, I am Krishna, but you know, the previous Janma, in the previous birth, I was Rama, and you as Jambavan wished to fight with me. You were thinking, what a great warrior this Rama is. You know, after the war, if he fought, how skillful he was, all that. And a warrior, you know, always, like if you're a sports person and you are really good at sports, you like a good challenge, isn't it? You'd like to play not with your grandchild, but with someone who can match your skills, isn't it? So now and then you want to pit your strength against somebody who really can do it. So heart of hearts, he wished to have a fight with Rama, but he worshipped him so much that he could not achieve it. But he held the desire for a long time, and therefore it got manifested now. If he had told he was Rama, he won't fight again. So Krishna had to devise this whole episode to satisfy. As and when he goes, he satisfies many people's desires, as he did in Mathura. One hunchbacked woman who made sandalwood paste. She is so hunched back, but all that time she's thinking of her Krishna. So Krishna says, give me some chandan, apply it on me. And he stands up straight. So she reaches up to put the chandan, he puts his foot on her feet. So she cannot lift her foot also. So he stretches her up. And she doesn't even remember how her hunchback became all right. So every time he is using every opportunity to help others. So here Jambavan immediately stops the fighting and he says, oh my Lord, you came back to me again, and he hugs him. And then he says, what? Not only take the money, but also my daughter, Jambavati. Some people's luck is like that. Everywhere they go, they get a girl also. Get married. So, one side you have people, see, where is the luck coming from? One side you must be ready to take the insult and other things from other people. Then only you will get this also, Shreyas. And notice, he never went after any woman. Rukmani said, if you don't marry me, I'll die. Here the father is begging him, giving his daughter as a gift. For having fought with him, please take the money. Anyway, the money is not for you, you said it is somebody else. But take my daughter, I'll be honored if you marry my daughter. So Jambavati is the second of the Ashtalakshmis. First is Mahalakshmi, Rukmini. Then the next one he marries is Jambavati. So now he takes the money and the wife home, the girl, and there the money, he calls Satrajit to the court, and in front of everybody he gives the money and tells the story. Satrajit is very ashamed and he says, I'm so sorry, I should not have said those things, and so if you really forgive me, you please keep the money, you yourself, and as you said, you are the right person to keep it because it's not safe with me, I already lost my brother. So keep the money and marry my daughter, Satyabhama. This is the third of the Ashtalakshmis, Satyabhama. See, all the Lakshmis have to come where Narayana is. Ashtalakshmi have to be there. They cannot be away, separate from him for long. It's like a magnet is there, iron filings will come flying to it, you know. That's the nature of the divine. The more divine you are, then all around you will be manifesting Ashtalakshmis. What the Ashtalakshmis are, I told you to listen to Guruji's CD. Now, He gives back, but he takes the girl. He says the girl itself is more than a money. So he gives the money back to Satyajit. I don't want it, please keep it. It's troublesome and I have no time for all that. Please take it. So Satyajit takes it home. Now, soon after he marries Satyabhama, news comes from Hastinapura that the Pandavas had been burnt in the wax house. That episode happens. So he and Balarama immediately rush to Hastinapura to condole with Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti, everyone, that their 5 brothers are killed, died. And there, of course, he sees Vidura's face, and from his face he understands that Vidura has helped them escape, they are safe. But he doesn't show it to anybody, he continues with his condolence and comes back home. Now, while he is doing that, here in Dwaraka, some 3 people, Shatadhanva, Akrura, and there's one more guy. Shatadhanva, wait. Kala, wait, it will come. The third 3 people plot to kill Shatrajit to take the money, Semantaka money, that jewel. So I told you, it's always troublesome. 5 kgs of gold. If you put your eyes like that, along with it you will be killed. Or all around you will be killed. Everything comes with a price, heavy price. So what happens? So Shatadhanva kills Shatrajit, takes the money. Satyabhama, the daughter, immediately runs to Hastinapura to tell Krishna what has happened. So Krishna and Balarama cut short their visit and come back fast. Hearing the news that Krishna is coming back, Shatadhanva flees. Akrura takes the money, goes to Kashi. Krishna runs after Shatadhanva, kills him but does not find the money with him. In the meantime, he comes back and says there is no money with him. Balarama kills the 3rd guy and Akrura has vanished. Krishna, in a few days' time, hears news that Akrura, who is living in Kashi, is being very charitable and bountiful. That he is conducting a lot of pujas every day because the 5 kgs of gold he was getting, you have to spend it on charitable purposes. You can't keep it for yourself. You can't make gold armor for yourself. You have to keep giving it away. So he hears that everybody is very happy in Kashi, Benares, that somebody is giving, Akrura is giving away lot of wealth. So he knows he's got the money. Because of the earlier rumor, as a king he has to still prove who killed Shatrajit. So he goes to Kashi, meets Akrura and says, you have to come home now with me and tell everybody in Dwaraka, this, you have the money. Akrura feels ashamed, he says, take the money. No, you come, I don't want, thank you very much, I don't want the money, but you come and tell everybody you have it. So Akrura comes, shows it to everybody and says, I'm very sorry this has happened. Krishna says, you only keep it, you're doing a good job with it, so continue giving, making pujas and havans and giving to all the people who do the pujas, the priests. So you go, he gets back. After this, Draupadi's Swayamvara happens, where the 5 Pandavas marry her. Then we have very briefly told that Kalindi, Mitravinda, Satya, Bhadra, Lakshmana, 5 more. These are the remaining of the Ashtalakshmis. They are all married to Krishna, all by the behest of the fathers or parents or the girls. Understand this. None of these girls he marries out of his own wish or desire. You need to get this picture very, very clearly. So first point, people who think I can marry like Krishna many times, think again. He never desired or lusted for any woman. Is that clear? So unless people are forcing their daughters on you, are you clear? Huh? We cannot compare ourselves to Krishna. Is this clear? Okay. Now, next comes the story of Narakasura. Who has imprisoned what? 60,100 women. Nobody knows why he did that. He was Narakasura, who has imprisoned what? 60,100 women. Nobody knows why he did that. He was collecting women, like some people collect coins and stamps. Okay, so here he was doing this, and if you notice the name, Naraka means hell, Asura means demon, demon of hell. So there were 60,100 women who were living in hell. And what is hell? Hell is not a place. Hell is a place not outside. It is in you. The mind can make a place heavenly or hellish. Isn't it? When you're unhappy and you're in torture or troubled, you say you are in hell. Everything may be beautiful, weather will be beautiful, you have a comfortable everything, seat, everything, but your mind is in torture, you won't enjoy anything around you, isn't it? Somebody singing and dancing irritates you, get a migraine. You want to kill those people who are making the noise, isn't it? It's hell for you, Naraka. So that's what it symbolizes. They were all imprisoned in their own hell. Then sometimes when you call out to help, hey, somebody out there help me, I don't know how to get out myself from this hell, then the Lord comes. Of course, he has to come in the form of some human being to help us. So here Krishna himself goes, Satyabhama drives his chariot for him, and he shatters the heavy protection that Narakasura has built, the fortress, and he shatters it with his chakra. And as I said, he has decided Narakasura has done enough trouble, so in a trice he chops off his head, kills Narakasura, and redeems all the 60,100 women. And he sends them back to Dwaraka, calls up the parents and says, please come and collect all your daughters from Dwaraka. So all the girls go there, the parents come to Dwaraka, and the girls tell, sorry dad, all of us, we have decided we are marrying only Krishna. The parents are waiting in the reception room, 60,100 pairs of parents with the daughter. So, waiting for Krishna to return. Krishna settles all the matter there and then comes. And he sees and there's everybody waiting for him. And they all fall at his feet and say, look, anyway nobody will marry them, somebody else, because they have been living with this guy in that house. And they are all dying to marry only you. So you must marry them. Some people interpret this as 60,100 nerves that we have in our body, maybe more. But these are the nerves that the main spinal cord has to marry. They have to be in alignment. From the brain to the spinal cord, these are the things that send out the nerves to the whole body. One part of the body, the nerve does not go. What will happen? That part we cannot move, right? Get paralyzed. So then one of the meaning of Narayana means Narayana, the one who resides in the nerves is Narayana. And in fact, people who have any nervous problems, if you chant Narayana, little, not very loudly, not shouting, not whispering, medium pace. Narayana, Narayana. Try this. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Relax. You notice the way your tongue is twirling and touching certain parts of your mouth. We'll do it 5 more times. Notice again. Notice the like acupressure happening in your mouth, tongue and all that. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Did you notice? So something in the way it is working in all those things, touching the subtle points in the mouth, it affects the whole system and balances it. So that is why Narayana chanting is very good for human bodies. Especially people who have mental, any neurotic, neuro concerned problems, it's good to chant this. And anybody, any one of us also can afford more tough nerves, isn't it? Today's stress-ridden thing. So all of us at any time can be chanting Narayana. Utte bedte. I don't know how many of you have noticed that whenever I move also I keep saying Narayana, Narayana. Sitting down I say Narayana. Now I made it a habit for me. So we can do that. Okay? So 60,100. Got it? So don't plan to marry anybody literally. It is all about him being the central nervous system and all these are his. Right. Good. Narada was curious. Narada wanted to see how he has seen Narayana manage 2 wives in Vaikuntha. Yeah, Sri Devi and Bhudevi. And now he was so curious to see Ashtalakshmi plus 60,100 wives. How does a man manage this? Managing one is quite difficult. How does he manage so many? So he personally comes to each of the houses and enters and watches, and he finds that Krishna is happily married to each of them, keeping each of them happy. He can just clone himself. So he has the capacity to do that. He does that and keeps each one of them very, very happy. There is a beautiful story. I think I have time. I can go into it. Satyabhama once, this is not in the Bhagavatam, this is stories that come down, generations of storytelling of kathas. It comes around. But this will illustrate something very important about Krishna. Satyabhama one day gets a message from our friend Durvasa Muni, the one who gets angry very easily. That Rishi, very powerful Rishi. He sends across a message from across the Yamuna saying, I'm coming tomorrow that side, and I would like you to send the bhiksha. They won't say food, they will say bhiksha. Bhiksha means I'm asking for food and you're going to give me. And it's an honor to feed such sages and hermits and all that. Not everybody get the blessing to cook and feed such people. It's a blessing. So when she gets this letter, she gets very excited. She feels very proud. The letter didn't go to Rukmini, it came to me, and very good. And so she starts cooking all with her maids. She prepares 1,000 disciples. So he prepares a huge meal, and the next day she goes to the Yamuna to cross, when she finds that Yamuna is in spate, flooded. She can't, none of the boatmen will take her across. And she's desperate. You can't give excuses to Durvasa, can you? Mm-hmm. No way. So she quickly runs to Krishna and says, okay, I'm in a great hurry now, and I know you have many tricks up your sleeve. So give me something now, some upai. Tell me some way in which I can now get across. Do something, some trick, and take me. I must go. So Krishna says, oh, very simple. You just go to the Yamuna and tell her, if my husband Krishna is an Eka Patni Vratan, then give way to me. Which means, if my husband is married only to one person, then you allow me to cross. And if Yamuna allows, you go. Satyabhama is furious. Which one is your wife? But she has no time to do all this drama now. She says, I'll come back and deal with you. Gives him one big glare and runs, because she's running out of time. She goes there, tells the Yamuna, and it parts. So now she says, oh, Yamuna is also in the conspiracy then. But she can't get angry with the river. What can she do? So she goes across, feeds Durvasa and all. She feeds him, and all the maids feed the other disciples. And when it's all over, she packs up and she's leaving. When Durvasa says, I'm very pleased, thank you very much. It was a lovely dinner, lunch. What you ask, what you want. And Satyabhama says, I have everything, only I have to give me some method to cross the river because it is flooded. So Durvasa says, okay, go and tell Yamuna that if Durvasa is a Nitya Bratan, which means one who fasts daily, every day. Now, this was too much for Satyabhama. Okay? Now, at least she could glare at her husband. She dare not even look at Durvasa. Can she do that? She cannot. So she lowers the eyes. Her blood pressure is now 300 by 200. So she comes back to the river, and the river also parts. Because she's just now fed him, and he says he fasts every day. So she is like, what is all this? And she's angry. She comes back, goes straight to Krishna, and he's busy something, Sit down, first tell me. She drags him down. You must tell me, what is all this? And Krishna said, why? What happened? Why are you getting perturbed? What's the problem? He knows everything, but he's, doing this drama. And she says, you said this, and Yamuna parted, and he says that, and Yamuna. You, I know, are a liar. That I can take it. But Durvasa, and I fed him. All the food I gave him, he kept eating and eating and eating. He even belched at the end of it. And he says he's fasting. What do you mean? What does it mean? What's all this? So Krishna says, while he was eating, did he say anything? No. Yeah, he did. In fact, every time he put some food into his mouth, he would say, Krishna. She comes back, goes straight to Krishna. he put some food into his mouth, he would say, Krishna Arpanamastu, which means all this is for Krishna. So he said, look, did he eat? Nityavrata, na? Isn't it? He is fasting daily because all the food he is eating, he is only offering to the divine in him. Who is me? What are we doing? Either we are seeing diabetes, cholesterol there, or we are, this is so nice. I like this. I don't like that. Do you see? We are seeing either disease or food. And we are eating for our taste and our benefit. For the body and mind, isn't it? You see the difference? But if you offer it to the Lord, that this is going for the Lord, then it is different. Got it? So now, what about this Ekapatini Vrata? That is left, no? So, you tell me now, how would he have answered it?
If he's with one woman, he's with her 100%.
Anybody else? Those who have already heard Bhagavatham from me must know this. Rekha, kya hua? Shiva, Nacha. Ella marandu pochu. I kept telling you, Krishna never wanted to marry any of these women. They wanted to marry him, he obliged. That's all. It's not his karma, it's their karma. Please understand this deeply. The only one he liked was Radha. All others wanted him. Is that clear? So he is Eka Patni Prathan. Nice, no? So remember, what you wish becomes yours. But what others wish and you fulfill is not your action, your Kurukshetra at all. So many subtle lessons Krishna teaches in the Gita, Bhagavatam, and when you go very deep, you get to know him, and then you, instead of misunderstanding, you can see something so subtle and deep, at what level he lived. Now, there are two requests to Krishna. One comes from Yudhishthira, who wants him to be his guest of honor, chief guest of honor, for the huge yajna that he was, huge yajna he was going to perform. The Rajasuya yajna, that is the emperor. At the same time, another invitation comes from many kings who were imprisoned by Jarasandha. Remember Jarasandha who challenged him and from whom he ran? So this Jarasandha has imprisoned a lot of kings in prison. And they were very miserable, and they had been praying to him desperately, and one day Narada visits them. So they send Narada to tell him, please go and tell Krishna that he has to come and release us. So Narada also comes and says, you have this request from these kings. So Krishna says, okay, we'll do both. So first he goes to Jarasandha, challenges him to a duel. He says, let's not kill too many innocent people in a war. So we will do it one-on-one. And he asks Bhima to be his representative, his proxy to fight with Jarasandha. Because Jarasandha was an expert in mace, Gada, and Krishna was not. So Balarama was, but he couldn't ask Balarama because he was his elder brother. He asked Bhima, who was trained by Balarama. So he says, Bhima, you fight for me. So Bhima and Jarasandha start fighting, and in the fighting, every time Bhima would split Jarasandha into two, he would fall apart, but quickly he will join again and start fighting. Why? Because when he was born, he was a freak child born to his parents, and they saw him as two pieces, longitudinal pieces. So they got so scared of it, they just threw it away in the forest. And Jara, one demoness, passing by, saw these two pieces of babies. She put them together and she saw it made a baby. So she started bringing the baby up. And she called him Jarasandha. Sandha means up, to be joined together by Jara. So Jarasandha. So the boy grew up, but nobody could kill him because whenever he was split, he would quickly join together again. So this was what was happening. So Krishna, watching this for a long time, takes a grass, splits it into two longitudinally, puts it upside down one side, and shows it to Bhima, who's fighting there. He gives him a tip. Bhima, is more brawn than brain. So it had to be done 2-3 times before he caught it. And then he says, okay. And so next time when he splits Jarasandha, he puts one side, head up and feet down. And then the body could not join. Jarasandha is killed and all the kings are released. From there, he goes straight to Hastinapura for the Rajasuya Yajna. There, Shishupala is there also, because they are all relatives. Shishupala is the cousin of Krishna. And when he was born, all the time when he was young itself, he used to keep insulting Krishna. He hated Krishna from young only. And Krishna once told his mother, look here, the day your son insults me 101 times, that day I'm going to kill him. So you better warn him. So the mother was praying every day to the son, please keep it to 99. To be on the safe side. But she was always upset. She knew that one day this fellow is going to die. Anyway, she prayed to God and all, but anyway, that day in the Rajasuya Yajna, seeing Krishna there and because he was chosen by Yudhishthira to be the chief honor of guest, he was so jealous and angry. And he said, oh, cowherd, why would you select that fellow? He's useless, he's this, he's that, he ran away, he's a coward. When Jarasandha challenged him, he ran away. You call him a Kshatriya, he's a disgrace to Kshatriya race, etc., etc. All this kind of thing, he starts insulting him. Krishna, who was sitting there opposite and hearing all this, was quietly, nobody saw that. What was he doing? He was plucking the petal from his garland and he was quietly doing this. 100, 101, he got up from his seat, took out his sword, walked up to Shishupala, chopped off his head. He waited for a long, long time, patiently. And each time the Lord decides to do this killing, it is not a punishment, it is a release. A release from the harm that those people were doing to themselves. So understand this. When somebody insults you, instead of getting insulted, you know what you should do? You should walk up to them and say, what you're doing will get you blood pressure and migraines. So take care. Or you can give them flowers and say, get well soon. MBBS style. Munnabai style. See, then the whole people also know that this fellow went too far. Everybody watching, petrified at what he was doing, and nobody taking action. Have you noticed? People in a group, when something is happening, they know that person deserves it. Yet you will always have 2-3 people mumbling, she shouldn't have been that harsh. She could have been a little gentle, more gentle. I would have handled it better. Isn't that what we comment? To take that action and be very firm from a center of love. This is what has to be made very clear. Especially teachers. We have to be very clear. Some people see me as very tough and strong and very bold and all that. You know, if I did it from a center of hatred or malice or first of all, I don't see any reason for me having any hatred or malice to the group I teach. It's meaningless. Secondly, if I had it and I said it, you know what? It will straight away have an effect on my physical and mental status. Yes or no? And that's what I say. After every course, I should be in the intensive care unit with all the tubes stuck on me. So to do it's like an operation. You have to be a little ruthless in doing the operation. And then we know some people heal a little later. They will understand a little later. It will take time. So we have to sometimes get in there and do what we have to do, say what we have to say. And then we have to leave it. If they don't, then Guruji says, you educate and ignore after that. Then they will cook. Anyway, they are cooking. Don't worry. And when they become soft, they will be ready. Okay, some people come after many days, they come write me an email. I'm so sorry, they'll write. I say, you don't have to be sorry, you have to be sorry for yourself. Isn't it? What you're telling sorry to me, because I never took offense in the first place. Doesn't matter. Okay? Now, the beautiful story of Krishna and his friend. You know, when he went to school, the only time he went to school, Sandipani Rishi, he had many classmates, and one of them was this very, very poor Brahmin boy named Sudama, Kuchela or Sudama. Now, he continued to be in poverty, but he had married and he had children. But the poverty status did not change. Like in the Facebook, every day the mind changes, the status changes. But Kuchela, Sudama's status remained same. Ditto, ditto, ditto. Now, he was a very good man. And this is what we need to also understand. Guruji also says, to be good, you don't have to be poor. Use your wisdom, he says, yukti. Many times in India, people normally associate poverty with goodness. Only good people are poor, or poor people are good, and all the rich are bad. It was there, ingrained in generations of people. Even me, believe it, until I had the opportunity to meet great people, rich people, powerful people, I was, with them very close. They would come to me for bhajans and spiritual guidance and Gita and all that. So I got to know some of the top people in India, richest and most powerful people. And then I had this prejudice in my mind. I judged them. I thought they were all making money through wrong means, and etc. Not all are like that. Some are. Some are they are, hereditary rich people. For generations they've had this wealth in their family, and they are doing a great job. Some of them are amazing people. So that was an eye-opener to me, and I have met poor people who are not so good. So it could be both ways. So there is no classification. There was another classification I had. People with mustache and people who smoke cigarettes are bad. This was another bad qualification I had. And then it took me quite some time to understand people with mush can be extremely good. It all had to come sometime to me. I had to learn it, but I learned it, thank God. So, Sudama was one of those who believed that you cannot be, if you go and tell two people that, look, I can do this puja for you, it is bad. They should come and ask you. That you should not advertise. Advertise means tell the people. It's disgraceful. It's, these kind of funny ideas people have. So he continued to live in poverty because he was too timid and, giving up easily. And you have to be a little josh, some enthusiasm and all that. His wife had it. So she kept on, but she was one of those very traditional wives who wouldn't go beyond the husband on her own and say, I'll go to job, you stay at home, nothing like that. She was still at home, but she would keep telling her husband, hey, I'm here, we are all hearing so much about your friend Krishna. They've been following his life, news goes around. And then now he is the king of Dwaraka. Why don't you visit him once at least? You are all the time telling me stories about Krishna did this, Krishna did that when we were in school. We tell stories from our childhood. So you have been telling me all this, and so why don't you go and visit him sometime? And all the time instead of talking about him, you can go have fun with him a day or two and come. And Sudama, don't know if I go now. This is how the ego works. I'm very humble. If I go, he may think I've come for money, I don't want to trouble him that way, blah blah and all that. And one day she finally, like all good wives, she persuaded him. He got convinced and he said, okay, tomorrow I'll go. So she was so excited. She goes into her kitchen to look for something to send. People don't go empty-handed to visit somebody. It used to be like that. Now I don't know. It used to be like that. So she looked in, the kitchen was empty, literally empty. Nothing was there, not a single grain of rice was there. So she runs to her neighbor and says, can you please give me a handful of flattened rice? It's cheaper than rice. The cheapest thing is poha, chidva. Rice that is flat. It is soaked and then it is beaten in the paddy itself. And then the paddy is removed. Then you get the rice is flattened out. So it's very easy. You don't need fire to cook it. You can just soak it in water and you can eat it. Or simply at all straight you can munch it. It's easy to munch. So that is all she had. She gives her one fistful. So that she brings very gratefully. And that she ties in the, the men have an upper cloth. They have a dhoti below. And then they have this
Jai Gurudev. I think there is a problem with the CD, and this is where it stops. Unfortunately, this is day 6, so I think we will just have to say Krishna Arpanamastu, and we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day. It is nice, like what Rajima said. It's if all of you, whoever can, if you have a little Naivedyam for Krishna, you can offer it at your individual places tomorrow. That will be the end of the Bhagavatam. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.